But on sprint boundaries, you look at the priorities. Now, similarly, in a safe also, there is a pattern you will learn. The pattern is little longer than sprint. Yeah, we call it PI. But overall, on those boundaries, we are open to explore the changes. Yeah, so that's the we are going more or less. In principle, we want to follow change. In principle, we want to deliver early. And how do we do it? That may change a little bit, but that's a perfectly alignment. Now, this is again related to principle one. We want to deliver soon. That is always a good idea. So this principle goes well with agile way of working as well as safe way of working. Now, there is a one principle, principle number 4, which we are heading towards. It has a particular word which is little issue daily. So this principle is saying that business people who are the one who run business and the developer must talk daily throughout. First, it talks about project. So in a safe world, we don't have a project. That's the one thing. And second, daily conversation is little not possible, yeah, because 200 people, 100 people talking to business people daily may not work out. We need to have a regular frequency. So in a safe world, we have more specific meetings. We will talk about regular interaction with the help of meetings, not daily. And we have some roles which will do clarification work to support it. We have a product owner, we have something called product manager. You will learn about it to make the alignment possible without daily conversation. So by way of adding more roles and adding some meetings, we make it possible to work at a large scale without having daily conversation. So this is something we need to do in order to augment agile at a large scale. Even Scrum has done this change. Yeah, Scrum also talks about a role called product owner rather than talking to business developers all the time. In the safe world, we also need it on a regular basis.
Quick question, Saket.
Good, yeah.
Fourth one, like I misunderstood this one. Most of us were correct. So for the business people, will PO be the proxy of the business peoples?
Because yeah, so we don't call him a business people, but he is a representation. He's a represents the business people, but not the real business people.
Okay, got it.
And that's what we have added. We can say we have a PO, PM, they will fill the gap, but we can't have a business people talking daily with us. Good. Now others will go more or less well. Like you do need a motivated individuals in waterfall also, in agile also, in scrum also, and it might be a challenge in all the frameworks. Yeah, that's a separate issue. So you may not have a motivated individual irrespective of framework, but you need it. Yeah, you always want to have it. Similarly, you want to have a face-to-face conversation whenever possible, be it a waterfall, scrum, or safe, but you may not be able to do it all the time. So these are preferences. We are saying we understand face-to-face is great, but sometimes it is not available. We need to take care of it. We understand we need to have a motivated individuals, but if we don't have it, we need to build it. So that remains, I think, challenge and relevance everywhere. Now, working software is a measurement of progress. That is a must for agile way of working. So what does it mean? We can say we don't do percentage completion based achievement. We are not saying, guys, we are 20% complete, but nothing to see. We are 50% complete, but nothing to see. That is not going to work. We are not. So whenever we have evaluation, how are we doing? There should be a demonstration of work. Now, what is working software? We can have a definition of it, but something which completes the whole cycle of learning. So even in a Scrum, even in a Safe, Scrum talks about every end of an iteration, you need to have a sprint review demonstration. In the Safe also, every 2-3 weeks, we will have a demonstration of integrated product, and we want to see it so that we really know where we are. So that is needed irrespective of agile or safe. Again, the last one, we want to work in a sustainable pace. Scrum also, 8th one, Scrum also, Safe also, Waterfall also in a way. So I would say that even these three will work in a waterfall world as well. Any project management will like to have it. The only difference is the working software may not be used in a waterfall world as a measurement of progress. They will have a percentage completion and milestone also. But in the agile world, the percentage completion milestone should be linked to demonstration of a product. Yeah, so that's something goes as it is. Good till here? Any question till 8?
Saket, regarding that 7th one, right? That working software. So I understand that it should be a primary a working software that would be delivered in agile. But when we are getting to that scaled agile, right? Obviously, it's a group or integration that has to happen, right? Because only small part when we are working only on the agile with say 3 to 9 members, right?
So in a
Because
safe word also,
practically it is not possible. That's what my intention is.
yeah, safe word also, they are saying if you cannot integrate your work every 2 weeks, then safe will not work for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so there will have a 3 principles out of 10 principles of safe, which will be stressing on this point only. Yeah, so 30% principles stress that guys, you won't succeed without integration every 2 weeks minimum. Yeah, we'll see that.
Okay, sure.
But
Yes, I have doubt about like fifth principle here, like
go ahead,
build
go ahead.
projects around motivated individuals. But we say like as the organization is large, so we cannot identify those individuals and like build project around it. Like
So
this
see,
way,
what is the idea? Be it safe, waterfall, scrum. The idea here is we want to focus on the management style where we recruit good people rather than we monitor them and make them work. We, if the person is not motivated, better we don't work with him. Yeah? But when the people are working here, we are supporting and giving them environment so they like and enjoy working. So in a simple word, SAFE will not have individual monitoring matrices. It will not have individual KPIs. It will not have a manager reviewing everybody's work every day. Yeah? None of the agile framework has it. Now, if you don't have a motivated individuals, irrespective of framework, you need to do that. Yeah. You are a scrum, then you will check the manager because the guy, because you believe this guy will not work till the time I see him. So agile way of working is saying these kind of people will not sustain the agility. You better change your culture where you don't have to monitor people.
okay.
Yeah. So that's the organizational level recommendation. If we can't do that, probably we need to change Scrum, we need to change Safe, we need to change Waterfall, and have some monitoring process attached to each individual. That's the point. Good. So that's a generic thing. Now again, 9, 10 are also generic. We need to have a continuous attention to technical excellence. That's anyway needed, be it Waterfall, Scrum, Agile. Focus on technical quality is always needed. Yeah, in a safe word, it is more needed because if you have a defect, it will impact 100 people. In a Scrum word, it may only impact 10 people, but in a safe word, it has a big exponential impact. So better you focus on technical agility and technical quality. That's anyway needed. Simplicity, difficult to understand principle, but it is only talking about we need to do less and we need to find short path. We need to find easy solutions rather than trying to do everything. We need to prioritize our work. So again, it's a philosophical statement which is true for Scrum also, Agile also, and Lean also, because continuously we need to prioritize our work. So that's anyway there. The principle number 11 is little again. Go ahead, yeah.
So, for the number 10, it says the art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. So, work not done is like it's work incomplete, right?
Work not needed to be done. So in a simple word,
Okay.
say you need to maximize what you can live without. So what is the intention? This principle is made complicated because they wanted to say simplicity is not simple. Many times we don't think simply like this principle, that we are trying to explain simplicity but with confusion. So what does it mean? It simply means less is more. Do less work. Yeah, identify the wasteful items and remove them. Maximize the removal of waste. Yeah, don't do wasteful activity. That's the simplicity.
Yeah, and other way, like what I used to understand this one is like maximize the value. Suppose you have the
Yeah.
7 items for the sprint and you want to choose for the sprint backlog. So 5 are giving the maximum value. So you are supposed to live without those 2. So remove them and maximize the work not done. Put it in the
Perfect.
backlog so that you the highest value items in the
Perfect.
allocate to customers.
So working on less items but ensuring more value,
Value.
that's the simplicity. Doing coding less complex and ensuring that it does the work, that's the simplicity. Doing the less testing and ensure that there is no defect is a simplicity. So do less but ensure quality. Do less and ensure delivery, that's a simplicity. Yeah. So maximize the amount of work not done, which means do less. It is written in a complicated word, but nothing to do with SAFe. It's an agile manifesto principle only. Good. Yeah, so we kind of refreshed agile as well. Now, principle number 11, we are coming back to SAFe now, is saying the best architecture requirement and design emerges from self-organizing team. Now, in this word, as we take the context, here you have a multiple agile teams. And if we let, like Srinivas point, if we let everybody to take call on their technology and architecture, we may have a situation where at the end integration is not working. At the end, continuous delivery is not happening. So we need to ensure compatibility. And in order to ensure that, we probably need an explicit role called system architect to ensure the overall facilitation of architecture. And since multiple teams are working together, we may need to do a little bit proactive architecture. It's not like just in time, inside the sprint, we'll figure it out what architecture approach we should take. Since there are multiple views and work has to be distributed in multiple teams, we may need to define about our architectural backbone little bit, maybe 4-5 weeks in advance, so that we can come up with the exploration before we do a lot of work in a different teams. So in the SAFe way of working, or in the agile, when we want to scale the agile to a bigger scale, we may need to ensure that we have a mechanism where architecture is visualized little bit ahead in time, and there is someone who is accountable for facilitating architectural exploration, because in the absence of it, it may not be integratable, it may not be executable. So that is where the SAFe will introduce additional role called system architect. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Principle 12. Yeah, you do want to do retrospective all the time. Yeah, that's the needed. Be it an agile way of working, scrum way of working, or SAFe way of working. Any questions? So hopefully the activity was just here to make little bit conversation on agile. So we understand what is agile in little bit more detail, and we understand the SAFe is also founded on most of the agile ideas. And we also understand that some of the ideas which may not be scalable directly, the SAFe is doing some augmentation to make those ideas work in the large team. Yeah, that's the overall objective of this conversation. All good? If anyone has a question, I can explain, else I move to the another artifact. Good. So what we have done in this class till now, this particular lesson 2, we learned about 5 principles of lean thinking. Yeah. So you learn about identifying value stream, optimizing the overall value, and letting the customer pull for it, and continuously achieving perfection. So we learned and understood that. We also learned 4 agile manifesto statements, and we also understood how the agile thinking is rooted in SAFe, and there is some augmentation which is done in SAFe. So that much we have done till now. Now, other than lean agile mindset, there are 2 more things which help us in understanding SAFe thinking. One is 4 core values, and another is 10 principles of SAFe. So let's look into SAFe core values before we take a break. So SAFe core values, they were like some of you might be referring to some contents. Earlier there was a different values, now there is a different value. So in a SAFe 6, these are the 4 values. Sometimes you may have some old content which is referring something else. So be aware that there is a change in this value thing. So SAFe core values are 4. They are focusing on alignment, transparency, respect for people, and relentless improvement. And I would say most of these are common. The only thing maybe little different is alignment. Even in a Scrum world, Agile world, we want to have transparency. Even in a waterfall world, we want to have transparency actually. We want to make sure that everybody can see what is happening. We have an open environment where people can find out the mistake, they can acknowledge their mistake, they can point out what is not working. We want to have a collaboration and clarity. SAFE is also saying it. We should build our process on the foundation of transparency. Great. Respect for people. As we learned, we want to build project around motivated individuals, more or less the same thing. Now, once we have it, we respect them. We respect their estimation, we respect their design decisions, we respect their opinion, we respect their feedback, because we believe they are here to work. They have all the good intention. So good intention and good faith is assumed. Yeah, so that's what coming as a respect for people. So we are saying that we are developing them, mentoring them, and by growing people, we are developing product, not by monitoring people. So the whole idea is growth, the whole idea is transparency, the whole idea is building long-term partnership. So that's, I believe, is a core agile value, core lean value, which is also going here. Relentless improvement, that is also more or less everywhere. Retrospective, continuous reflection. So they want to use a word relentless rather than continuous, because they believe the relentless put more stress on improvement. So we need to continuously keep improving, relentlessly, without tiring, keep improving, because things are changing very dynamically. We need to continuously or relentlessly keep finding solutions to our problem, like removing delays, pursue perfection. Then lean thinking was also about relentless improvement. So we need to pursue perfection all the time, and we should have retrospective, lesson learns, reviews, meetings frequently to make sure that we are moving in a right direction. So I think these three values are pretty much common in agile ways of working. The alignment is little specific. In a Scrum word, the alignment was a responsibility of a product owner. We can say product owner should ensure alignment, and the teams may not have a very explicit role there. In a safe word, since we have 10 teams, 100 people working together, we need to have a clear approach to ensure everybody has a common understanding about the mission, goal, and the strategy. Everybody can see how my small work is helping my organization to achieve what they want to achieve. We should speak common language, we should have a common artifacts. We need to understand and ensure our alignment frequently, like we do Scrum of Scrum. We should have a continuous alignment, continuous integration demo, and we need to continuously keep understanding our customer feedbacks. So the SAFE is saying you should have explicit meetings roles to ensure that all the people, all the teams are chasing the common goal. Yeah, that is the value of SAFE. How it get implemented? We have a PI planning meeting where we do a common planning and common goal setting for the whole agile release train. We have a frequent team level sync ups meeting. We have a frequent integrated system demos where we see the work of all the 10 teams together on a frequent basis. We take a feedback back and expect it to improve on it to ensure that all of us are heading towards the common goal. Yeah. So that's the another value of SAFE. So what are the SAFE four values? Alignment, transparency, respect for people, and relentless improvement. Any question on this? All good? So maybe in a simple word, we can focus on that. Okay, what do we do on a day-to-day basis in order to improve these kind of stuff? So that's something we will keep referring when we go into detailed principles, like PI planning is a good mechanism of doing alignment. Retrospective is a good mechanism of doing relentless improvement. Having a Kanban boards, ART level Kanban board, team level Kanban board is a good example of transparency. You can say we will have a transparency in the place. Doing daily stand-up, we call it team sync-up meeting, is a good example of transparency. Doing team level sync-up or a ART level sync-up, which was also known as a Scrum of Scrum, is also a ART level transparency tool. Having team level demos and system level demos is a transparency tool. Respect for people, engaging people in decision making, taking estimation from the work of the work who is expected to do the work, rather than estimation is done by someone and execution is done by someone. We engage the people who are doing. Whenever people face a problem, they should have a mechanism to identify that problem and talk about it. We have a servant leadership role where we remove impediments at a team level and even below beyond. we have a mechanism to grow people by way of doing continuous training and mentoring to them is a respect for people. So that kind of things we should do in order to ensure that safe values are really getting implemented. Yeah. I hope it is giving some idea about what is coming in the framework. We have not yet started talking about the framework, but I'm trying to relate as much as possible, and some of you who have seen some videos in advance probably will be able to relate more on these terms. Any question before I move to safe principles? We'll take another 10 minutes before we break, but if you have any question, we can talk. Good till here?
Yeah.
Core values were simple, I guess. Okay. Now, principles. I really feel why they have to teach all these principles. I usually find it very tiring and for the people to understand them. But the whole thing is why they do it, because they are making leading safe class for leaders and managers. There are other programs like Safe for Teams and all where we don't spend time on principles. We directly go to the action. So the idea here is, since the people who are here may need to decide various options and decisions on a day-to-day basis, they need to know what guides the safe. And that's why in this class or the advanced program like Safe Advanced Scrum Master or Safe Implementing, whenever the leadership get involved, Safe spends good 3-4 hours explaining the principles, because that helps you in developing the thinking process. Now, in these 10 principles, I do have my own categorization, the way I see it. The first 3 principles are like management principles. It's like generic management stuff. Take an economic view, like focus on returns, focus on benefits, focus on doing ROI based decision making. Take an economic view, generic management idea. Apply system thinking. This principle focuses on apply big picture. I think someone spoke about big picture in the comments when we were doing the agile principles comment. Safe has a focus on think end to end. Rather than thinking only small teams work, think big work, alignment. That's a system thinking. Yeah, so think about the whole problem. Assume variability, preserve option. This principle is reminding, have some contingency. Manage your risks. You will not be able to predict everything in advance. Things will go different than your plan. So you should have some backup options available. That's it. And I think most of us who have done project management, program management, or any type of management, these things were always part of it. So in a product development space, we want to make a cost-effective decision-making economic view. We want to apply the whole system thinking rather than doing component or isolated view. And we want to have some contingencies in place. So that's it. These are the 3 principles which help us in understanding that in detail. We have some set of slides to help us learn that. Yeah. So that's the management. Now, there are 3 critically development principles, or I would say the mechanics of doing development, integration principles. So I was talking about continuous integration, and that's the 3 principles. So build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycle. It stresses on the whole agile train. If you have a 10 teams, they need to integrate their work more frequently. Minimum once in a 2 weeks, means at the end of an iteration. But if they can do integration every day, then it is good. So without integration, things will not sustain. That's the principle number 4. So have a continuous integration at a train level in place, not only at an agile team level, at a train level. And many times, like we got a comment that people are doing safe and not doing safe and failing in it. So major issue with big development is postponing this integration. And many times I find people doing safe without continuous integration. Yeah, everything else is working, integration is not working. And then we have our own challenges related to it. From a safe perspective, that's a big no. Yeah, because they believe going forward without feedback is a big danger. So you must have an integration, else you will face challenges. That's the principle number 4. The principle number 5, which is I was referring, which is only possible when you have principle number 4. So when you have an integration, then you need to do objective evaluation of working software. You can say the progress should be rooted on working softwares only. Frequently, we need to have a system level demo, train level demos. So it cannot be done if you don't have a principle number 4, because integration is needed in order to really see where do we stand. So principle 5 is saying show the product. Now, in order to support these two, you need to have a mechanism which we are saying work in a time box pattern, cadence, synchronization, a little complicated word, but the basic meaning is basically we are saying is we need to work in these sprints so that they are synchronized with each other. So at the end of a sprint or at the end of an iteration, that's the word they use, we can have an integration and demonstration. So everybody should finish their iteration on the same day. It should not happen your iteration finishes next week, mine has finished this week. Then it is will be difficult for us to integrate our work. So on a same agile release train, and that's why I made a comment. Safe will tell you how to integrate Scrum and Kanban team, but not the waterfall team, because there has to be alignment on cadence. Waterfall team will say, I will do work after 10 months only, and now you continue doing. Then that is not suitable here. So we need to match the frequency. All the teams should finish their work at a defined time every 2 weeks, for example, and then integrate their work and have a demo at a train level. So these three principles, we will get into the details, are basically focusing on the development and integration. We'll get into details. Yeah. Principle number 6 is lean Kanban. So we'll learn that our lean thinking get further elaborated and more ideas of Kanban get added. So what is Kanban? It's all about visualizing the work and limiting working flow process. It is materializing the idea of transparency. So we'll learn how SAFe promotes Kanban at a team level, at an ART level, at a portfolio level, wherever you are doing work, there is a Kanban board. Yeah? And the Kanban board help us in ensuring flow of work happening throughout. Yeah, so we learn that, and we'll learn about keeping small items flowing in the system. We'll take this principle tomorrow because I want to give you an opportunity to watch video. We have a detailed 20 minutes video talking about this principle 6 so that it becomes little easy in the class because it's a heavy principle. So we probably will do these 5 and 2 from here today and keep the principle 6 for tomorrow. So after doing all this, then we have generic management and people management, people organizing principles. So you are motivated individual coming again. Yeah? So it is saying, focus on the work motivate people rather than money motivate people. So we'll say that let's focus on intrinsic motivation, not doing micromanagement, principle number 8. Principle number 9 will focus on empowerment. So helping people to make their own decisions, decentralized decision making. And the principle number 10 will focus on creating agile release train on the value streamline. So you can say, one train should be able to identify, analyze, deploy, and the value end to end. And then how do we organize our cross-functional team? We'll talk in detail about principle 10. Most likely, the principle, these two, and this one we will take tomorrow, most likely. Let's see how, if we go fast, then probably we'll finish it today. And principle number 10 will continue in the lesson 3 tomorrow. Yeah? So lesson 3 is more about understanding role and responsibility. It's an extension of principle 3. So that's a high level roadmap for the principles. Once I come back, we'll go into the details. Any question before we announce our 20 minutes break? Hopefully it is digestible.